Support for Sports Page is provided by First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. By the University Store. The University Store is the official headquarters for Mules and Jennies emblem clothing, gifts, and UCM memorabilia. Books, office supplies, art supplies, and more are available at the University Store, located on the lower floor of the Elliott Union on the UCM campus in Warrensburg. By Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy, a home-owned and operated store that listens to its customers. Whether it's a hypoallergenic formula or a new exotic vegetable, Parker's strives to serve the unique needs of the area. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics. Straight ahead on this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll visit with Mules basketball coach Kim Anderson and Jennies head coach Dave Slifer as both teams tip off the 2012-2013 season this Saturday afternoon, hosting Webster at the Multi. In our Sports Page Spotlights, we'll preview the upcoming NCAA tournament for the MIAA regular season champion Jennies soccer team, and we'll also preview the final weekend of the regular season and look ahead of the postseason for the 6th-ranked Jennies volleyball squad. So stay tuned. Your weekly inside look at UCM Mules and Jennies sports is next. Mules basketball officially tips off their 2012-2013 season this Saturday afternoon at the Multipurpose Building, hosting Webster at 3:30. And joining us now to talk it over is head coach Kim Anderson. Coach A, welcome back to Sports Page.
All right, good to be here.
Well, it's been a busy week for Mules basketball. You had Meet the Mules last Thursday, then you bust to Clarksville, Tennessee, had an exhibition game against Division I Austin Peay. Did you get what you wanted to out of last week?
Well, I think we did. I really, first of all, appreciate all the people that came out for Meet the Mules last Thursday. You know, nice crowd, and it's always fun for our guys to get out and play in front of the fans and students. And you know, it was really kind of our first time to do that, and that's kind of why we wanted to do that, is to be able to play in front of some people before we went to Clarksville. And then Saturday we went to Clarksville and played Austin Peay, and really for about 36 minutes we were even with them, and then we had about 4 or 5 possessions there late that we took a bad shot, or we turned it over, or we got a illegal pick or something like that, and the lead went from 1 to 9 pretty quick, and then you know, we were able to get it back a little bit. But all in all, I was pleased. I think it served its purpose. It allows us to go play a Division I team, a good solid Division I team. I think it demonstrates how hard you have to play, how much physicality you have to play with if you're going to be successful. And so you know, I was pleased. I don't like to lose, but I thought we got out of it what we wanted to get out of it.
What did you learn about your basketball team in the last week?
Well, I think defensively, I think we have the ability to be good. We're not consistent yet, but I think that as time goes on, as we incorporate a couple of new guys with some of the old guys, I think we have a chance to be good defensively. I don't think we're there, obviously. We have to do a better job of guarding the ball, as we call it, or closing out on defense and not letting somebody drive past us. But I think we have the possibility to do that. You know, offensively, patience, execution, we just need more of it. You know, we're playing a team like Austin Peay. You're playing a team that is very well coached, similar to us, and they really do a great job defensively in their man defense, and they play with a great deal of intensity. So, you know, you got to cut a little harder. You got to set your picks a little stronger. You got to be a little stronger with the ball, And hopefully that helped us learn, and I think it did. I think hopefully that'll carry over this weekend.
Well, last Thursday, as we mentioned, it was Meet the Mules and Jennies at the UCM Multi-Purpose Building, and really just a great dry run for your kids, for everybody involved. The pep band was there, the cheerleaders, the mule kickers. We got to see the new LED table and the video board for the first time in hoops. We had a 3-point shooting contest as well with one Jenny and one mule on each squad. And there's a guy that I know you're happy to have back, Reggie Stallings.
Good to have Reg back. He certainly brings, right now we're bringing him off the bench, and not because he doesn't deserve a star, but just because he just brings so much energy for us defensively and has that ability offensively to knock down shots.
There's DJ Slifer, a senior, a guy that's just very savvy on the floor, knows what you want.
Exactly. Been here 5 years now, and so really has a good idea of what needs to be done for our basketball team.
We saw Alex Dean shooting threes, maybe the only time we see that. He's an inside guy for you. There's Dominique Newton knocking down threes. Did an outstanding job, by the way, in this contest. But 8 seniors on this team. We've just seen 4 of them right there. So, this really wasn't Meet the Mules. This was more like reintroduction to the Mules.
Well, when Dave came to me and said, hey, let's have a co-ed shooting contest, I thought that was a great idea. And the only thing I couldn't figure out is how am I going to pick 8 shooters? Not that we have 8 great shooters, but so I finally decided, well, I'll just let the 8 seniors shoot. But no, it was great event. There's the opening play. I think that was choreographed, I hope. Nice pass there to Widget for a dunk.
Widget Washington, not a very tall guy, but a very a good athlete. And there you see a youngster, Preston Oaks, with the steal. He's going to take this to the basket and finish, a redshirt freshman from out of KC Winnetonka.
Yeah, we call him Ox. He sat out last year and really has done a great job coming in. He's got a great idea of what we want. I think he's going to help us.
Knocked down the 3 there. Good ball movement. Last year you talked about the fact that you brought in so many of these guys that are now 8 seniors, and they had to learn to play together because basically every one of them was a scorer either in high school or junior college. Do you expect that chemistry to take a big leap this year now that they've played together for a year?
Well, I think if we're going to be good, it's going to have to. We're going to have guys that average 20 points a game in junior college and may average 6 here, and not because they couldn't average 20, but just because it makes our team better. Alex Dean, perfect example, a guy who's really playing strong in the post right now and got to get better defensively, but he's really done well in practice. And there's Reggie hitting another pull-up jumper.
Reggie Stallings again missed last year with a knee injury, but he is back after working hard in the rehab process, knocking down the jump shot there. I know you're happy for Reggie just to have that chance to come back and have another senior year.
Well, he worked very hard. There's 3 guys on this team that had to sit out a year because of injury, and Reggie worked extremely hard rehabbing, as did Lance Beckwith and Dominique Long the year before. So it's good to have those guys back, and good to have them all together.
There's Widget, number 12, 26 points a game in junior college, but you can tell, we saw it last year, he doesn't care if he scores. He's one of those guys that's going to do whatever you ask to make the team go.
Did the best job, I thought, of almost everybody last year adjusting to his role. It took a while, but I thought he did a good job.
We saw Matt Webb a moment ago. He's number 0 here, double 0 on the season. A guy that is expected to be big on the inside. He's got the red jersey on there, good block shot. And a guy that I know you're expecting and hoping takes a big leap. Had a good season last year, needs to have a better year for the Mules to have a great year.
Well, for us to be, I think for us to be a good team, I think that Matt and Alex are going to have to really do a good job on the inside. There you saw a little fall-away jumper by Dominique Newton, who won the 3-point contest.
He did. There's a 3 for Joseph Davis in the corner. So a lot of depth on this team. We're seeing a lot of guys in these highlights. I think you've got, 16, 17 guys on the roster. So a lot of competition in practice for spots.
Well, we've got 17 guys. We're going to redshirt 2 guys. Garrett Sandbody and Preston Bruns are going to redshirt this year. So we've got 15 guys that are eligible to play, and it's really created some good competition on our squad. I think it's made our practices better, and there's a nice move by Garrett that he's been working on a lot, so hopefully down the line we'll be able to see that again in a real game. Garrett
Sandbody, the son of Mike Sandbody, for those Tiger fans watching tonight in mid-Missouri on KMOS-TV. And again, there's Preston Oaks with the pull-up jump shot. So one of the youngsters that's going to try to vie for time, but it's tough with 8 seniors. I mean, you've got some guys that, like Lance Beckwith right there, that are back. DJ Slifer, that played a lot of minutes inside to Matt Webb. For this year, at least, it's going to be hard for those young guys, I know, to break in with so many veterans.
Well, and again, I think the key component of our team is going to be how these guys all fit together and how they accept their roles and understand that they're not going to all play 35 minutes, and you can't start 8 guys. It's like I told the seniors, I can't start all 8 of you. They only let you start 5. So accepting the fact that they're going to come in off the bench and being able to make an impact on both ends of the floor is going to be really important.
We mentioned it earlier, but the Mules Saturday night were in Clarksville, Tennessee to take on Division I Austin Peay. The Governors coached by Dave Luce. Of course, Brad Luce, our associate head coach here, his son. You see there the Mules fall short against an OVC squad that is perennially competing for league championships in the OVC. Matt Webb, 15 points, 10 boards. Dominique Long, your leading scorer from a year ago, is very solid in the game as well. I think 14 points, 6 boards. And one new guy that I think will see the floor, you tell me, Charles Hamrick, a 6'6 swing man, can play the 3, can go down low. He had 15 points on 6 of 11 shooting, was a good scorer last year at Coffeyville Community College, and it's pretty clear to me this guy's got a chance to be a difference maker with this team.
Well, he does. He's a young man who really came on last year at Coffeyville. I think he was actually the MVP of the Eastern Division of the Kansas Junior College, which is pretty good. And he's come in here. He's got great basketball savvy. He passes the ball really well. Sometimes he passes the ball too much. And I say that, lovingly because, sometimes he's got open shots and he makes that extra pass, which is good. Defensively, he's gotten a lot better since he's been here. He's got capability. He's got long arms. He's a solid 3-point shooter, but he makes plays. And, hopefully he can make plays on both ends of the floor. Got great anticipation on the defensive end of the floor. Sees the floor well offensively. So I think Chuck will play. We feel like that he's going to play for us and he's going to add a lot to our team.
As I looked at the stat sheet from Austin Peay, one stat that looked good to me was the rebounding. You actually out-rebounded the Governors, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, we did 2 things well off the top of my head. One was we didn't let them get a lot of offensive rebounds. Of course, as I told the team, they didn't miss a whole lot of shots. And the other thing is we got 15 offensive rebounds, which, we got back 40% of our missed shots. And I think anytime you can do that, I think that's pretty good. And we kept them, they only got back 17% of their missed shots. So we did a good job on one end as far as rebounding, and the other end, we can't let a team shoot 54%. And we turned the ball over a little bit too much, but we forced them to turn it over too. So typical early season exhibition game like we've had down there many times, close all the way. Usually lose at the end. Won one time a few years ago, but great for our guys. Great experience to be able to go down there and play at a Division I venue.
So you played last Saturday at Austin Peay, and then this Saturday you host Webster at 3:30 at the Multi. So exactly a week between games. What did you see in that Austin Peay exhibition that you came back and said, we've got to go to work on this as we get set to begin the regular season a week from today?
Well, I think defensively we got to do a better job of being consistent as far as rotations and keeping guys from driving past us. Everybody screens on the ball nowadays. Basketball has become a ball screening game, and we're as guilty as anybody else. You have to be more proficient on helping on screens, whatever it is you're going to do. And then offensively, one more pass, man. Just one extra pass. Make that extra pass, and I think we'll get a better shot. And we did that. We did that at times. We just haven't done it enough. And I hope as time goes on that we realize that we are a team that has individuals who can score, or who have individuals who can score, and that we let those guys perform and we don't just try to take it over one person.
After Saturday's game, you actually have another week before your next contest against Culver Stockton. That's November 17th at 2 o'clock at the Multi. So the way you've begun the season, you really have given yourself time to learn and grow with this basketball team before you really hit the meat of the schedule. Yeah,
the way the MIAA is set up now, you have the conference games, and you have a lot of time in between games early on. So we have a week apart, which I'm not really crazy about that much time. But what we've tried to do is add something new each week. add a couple of things on both ends of the floor. We try to play like a game once a week, usually on Wednesdays, and we'll probably continue that trend. What we do in practice, you probably won't see that for a while. You know, we may keep that in our hip pocket for a while, but you'll see it eventually, and hopefully by then we'll be proficient at what we're trying to do.
Before we let you go, let's talk briefly about the MIAA. It's a new look league this year with 15 teams in the conference. You're picked second. Of course, the Mules won the MIAA, or a share of it, a year ago. Washburn is picked number one in both polls. Northwest is up there. Those are the three teams that shared it last year: the Mules, the Ichabods, and the Bearcats. Obviously, when we look at it, we look at Washburn with 5 starters back and a first-team All-American, and they clearly look to be the favorite, but pick second out of 15 shows that people expect you to compete for that league title as well.
Well, I think it'd be a great race. I really do, and the way the format is now, it's not as uneven as football, but it'll be a different dynamic, because I clearly think Washburn's a national championship team. I think they're a team that's got all the ingredients, plus they got everybody back. They remind me of our teams from 07 and 09. But we're going to go ahead and play them. We're going to go ahead and play the season out. But, you know, you only play them once. You only play Northwest once, who was picked third. So, you know, you really got to, every game is important, and you've got to, you got to go on the road and win games against good teams. And so I think it's going to be an exciting race. I really do. I talk about 3 teams. I think there's a dozen teams that could compete for the championship. So we'll see how it shakes out here early on. You know, things always happen early, and you get a little bit better idea. But it should be an exciting year.
3:30 Saturday at the Multi against Webster. I bet the guys are excited to just see somebody else in a real game in a different colored jersey get that opportunity to go out there, because they've been beating on each other now for just about a month.
Well, and it's great to be able to do that. This game will be, I think this game will help us. It'll show us some things we need to work on, and as you alluded to earlier, we have time to do it. And this is there's usually always something behind every game, you know, and this is the Landon Kerr's game for the folks. Landon was our GA the last couple of years, and he moved on to Webster. He's a full-time assistant coach there, and so it's great to have him back here in the house, and we're looking forward to playing. Like you said, looking forward to having the kickers out there and the cheerleaders and the pep band. They did such a great job last week at Meet the Mules and Jennies, so we hope a lot of people come out. Saturday afternoon, it's going to be about 80 degrees. It'll be about 75 in the Multi, so come on out. You
better change your calls, too, because Landon will be on that other bench.
He'll know every call. We're going to have to come up with some trick calls.
Good luck this week.
All right, thanks, Shawn.
Coming up next here on Sports Page, we'll talk to head coach Louis Theobald and members of the NCAA tournament-bound Jennies soccer team. That's next right here on KMOS-TV.
The idea of the American dream is that everyone's got an equal opportunity. You just got to decide to play.
We're not that kind of society anymore. The wealthy are getting an enormous percentage of all of the gains in the entire economy.
Those at the top have done well. They've invested in policies that are favorable to them.
Money is being used to buy results. That is the problem. That's how I used money. I know what I was doing.
Next time on American Masters, folk singer-songwriter Woody Guthrie.
I just blowed in and I got them Dust Bowl blues.
His journey through America,
through the Great Depression, through World War II,
turned him into a voice for the people.
This land is your land.
The music is at the core of what it means to be an American.
Woody Guthrie
And I ain't got no home
on American Masters.
Mr. Platt is taking a ladyship and Lady Grantham down to the village. She wondered if you'd like to go with.
After all that we've been through together, Bates and I owe him my loyalty.
The PBS Masterpiece Classic hit Downton Abbey is coming to Columbia. On December 16th, KMOS-TV is hosting a special screening of Downton Abbey Season 3 at the Mecklenburg Playhouse on the campus of Stevens College in Columbia. The screening is free, but space is limited, so call 1-800-753-3436 now to reserve your seats for this very special screening. Thank you. Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And welcome back to Sports Page here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Jennies soccer won their third straight MIAA title this season, and the Gens have earned the #1 seed in the Central Regional for the upcoming NCAA tournament. The 12th-ranked Gens will open NCAA tournament play this Sunday at 1 o'clock at South Rec on the UCM campus. In this Sports Page Spotlight, we'll preview the upcoming NCAA tournament with the Jennies and head coach Louis Theobald.
I think that's always the hope, is to be the 1 seed and do as well as you can do. And I like to think that our program's built on winning after winning. So, you know, we're going to lose great seniors now every year. So as much as we miss those guys, I think the expectations were high coming in. And I had great confidence in our returning players. So, you know, every year we're going to lose great players. And I like to think that if we recruit well and continue to bring good people in here, we're going to be good every year. I think when you're picked to win the league, and I think it was based off last year's performances, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a little bit of doubt, but I think once we got going and we played well early, I think it set us up to continue our progression. And I think our focus and our determination's maybe been a little bit better this year than it's been in the past, and that's a full credit to our seniors who've done a great job leading this team. And when you bring in a big group, it wasn't so much the soccer that you're worried about, it's the social side, if everyone's going to get along and fit in. And I think our leadership's been really strong, and that's allowed everybody to find their role in this team. There's 6 teams in our region, and like every other region, and the 1 and 2 seeds get a bye, so we'll have 3 teams here, and there'll be 3 teams in Minnesota, where the other region is. And the winners of this weekend, the 1 team that comes out of each event, will meet up in the Midwest next week, and we'll play for a region championship. And then the winner of that game on that Friday will play the winner of the Midwest to see who goes to the Final Four. So, you know, we've been to the Sweet 16 or region final 1 time, and we're within 1 win of reaching that again. And I think we can draw on that experience of that a couple years ago to push on. But yeah, there's no easy games, but it's really just focusing on each weekend, I think. I think we just need to focus on the 3 teams that are here and continue to progress, win, and move on. You know, in the last 4 years, you know, we've probably only lost 2 games, I think, at home. So maybe 3. And so we're pretty tough at home, and I think there's comfort of not having to travel and sleep in our own beds and just have a routine, a normal routine. And I think the further this tournament goes on, the more we could see this opening weekend being an advantage because we didn't have to travel. And so, you know, I anticipate the teams that do travel will travel in here Wednesday and be here Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They'll be here 4 days before we see them. So I think that's a benefit. You know, playing at home and on our field in front of our fans and on a field we know the surface and how it plays is a real advantage. I think we're pretty lucky to have a president that's involved in the NCAA and recognizes the importance of athletics on a college campus and what it brings to a student body and the experiences that our kids have, and talking about the cumulative effect of not just being a student on this campus but being a student athlete. And you put all those experiences together, it's a pretty neat place to go to school, and have a president support us that way you know, speaks volumes of him and his involvement on our campus and him seeing the big picture and not getting so isolated in one area. So you know, and he's a big soccer guy, so that helps, I think. And you know, we certainly enjoyed having him out the games. You know, the last president, I don't even know we had a women's soccer team. So it's nice to have his support, and you know, it was really good to see him the other day at the game.
every year it's a different team, and like you have a different makeup of different girls and like a different group. And last year's senior class was a huge, like, greatly missed, but we got a bunch of new girls coming this year, about 10 freshmen, I'm assuming. I might be off on the count, but so it was a little harder for us to like incorporate, because you got to imagine now we have half our team coming in this year. So I mean, it's good. There's definitely strengths and weaknesses to every year's team, but I mean, it's a good time. It's a great group of girls.
I don't think we're going to have to change anything to advance any further. I think there's definitely things that we've learned that we need to improve on, and we're lucky enough to have been exposed in a few of those areas in the conference tournament. So we're just looking to improve, not necessarily change.
Leadership is really important, especially in the playoffs, just because we have a lot of experience, especially our senior class, and the younger kids just need, I don't want to say kids, the younger players just need a little more leadership when it comes to postseason, just because they don't really know what's ahead, and it's important for us to show them how important this is, and we're really excited about it. I think that loss against Fort Hays State should put a little fire under us. It definitely is not fun to lose, and I think I can speak for the rest of the team that we do not want to feel that ever again, so we should use that as motivation for the rest of the year.
The celebration dance from the #1 seeded Jennies soccer team. They will face the Southwestern Oklahoma Minot State winner Sunday at 1 o'clock at the South Recreation Complex. UCM President Dr. Chuck Ambrose has generously agreed to purchase tickets for UCM students for that match, so just show your valid student ID at the gate, UCM students. And best of luck to the MIAA champs in the NCAA tournament. Coming up next on Sports Page, we'll take a look back at how Central Missouri's fall sports teams performed this past week, and we'll visit with Jennies basketball coach Dave Slifer. All of that's on the way when Sports Page continues right after this.
I'm sick and tired of hearing things from uptight, short-sighted man in my face. All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth. I had enough of reading things by neurotic psychotic big-headed politicians. All I want is the truth. Just give me some truth.
I choose to be independent, to blaze my own trail. I choose what to create, how to organize, and where to share.
Choose Red began as an inspiration and has grown into a way of life. Ever since the Choose Red campaign began in January 2011, students have been at the heart of the effort. All of our ads feature current UCM students. Who better to tell the UCM story than those who have experienced what it means to choose Red and the opportunities they've had because of that choice. In August of 2012, the office responsible for development of the campaign held open auditions in the Elliott Union. University relations staff members met more than 100 talented students who made the decision to choose Red. The students shared their stories and their talents with us in hopes of being able to become part of the official Choose Red campaign. UCM students who audition will have the chance to be in any number of Choose Red campaign materials, such as TV commercials, 30-second radio spots, web videos, billboards, brochures, ads, and numerous print publications. Even Central Man stopped by to add to the fun and excitement of Choose Red Auditions 2012. With so many students willing to be part of the campaign, it's no wonder a record number of students have once again decided to choose Red.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
And once again, thanks for watching Sports Page here on KMOS-TV. Coming up in just a moment, we'll visit with Jennies basketball coach Dave Slifer. But first, let's take a look at how the Mules and Jennies performed this past week. And the Mules football team closed out the 2012 season with a hard-fought 14-12 win over Fort Hays State last Saturday in Hays, snapping a 3-game winning streak for the Tigers. The Mules ended 2012 with a record of 6-4. It was the program's 6th straight winning season and their 14th in the last 15 years. The 6th-ranked Jennies volleyball squad picked up a 3-0 victory over Missouri Western last Friday night at Dr. Peggy Martin Court at the Multipurpose Building. Brady Penniston had 17 kills to lead the Jennies to the senior night win. On Saturday, the Gens traveled to Kirksville and picked up a huge MIAA and regional win, defeating 15th-ranked Truman 3-1. Carly Soika had 20 kills in the victory. Freshman Annie Riley was named the MIAA Specialist of the Week, averaging 5.18 digs per set over the 3 matches last week. The Gens are now 23-4 overall. They are 15-1 in the MIAA. The Gens have a half-game lead in the MIAA standings with 2 matches to go, and the Gens are ranked 2nd this week in the Central Region poll. The top 6 teams in that poll are ranked in the top 6 in the nation. The Jennies soccer team defeated Northeastern State 1-0 last Friday in the semis of the MIAA tournament. Carly Stanley scored the goal for the Gens. On Sunday, the Gens fell in double overtime to the Fort Hays State Tigers in the MIAA Tournament Championship match 2-1. Gens are now 15-2-4. They're ranked 12th in Division II, and again found out on Monday night they earned the #1 seed in the upcoming NCAA Central Regional, half of which will be played at the South Rec Complex this coming Friday and Sunday. The Mules and Jennies cross-country teams both finished in 9th place at the NCAA Central Regional. Last Saturday in Joplin, Tyler Stuber earned all-region honors with a 12th place finish to qualify for the national meet. Jennies basketball is coming off a 20-win season and a trip to the NCAA tournament as they get set to open the 2012-2013 season Saturday, hosting Webster at 1:30 at the Multi. Joining us now to preview his 9th year as head coach is Dave Slifer. Coach Slifer, welcome back to the show.
Good to be back, Jonesy.
Well, you lost a lot of key players from last year, but you do have one key cog back, and that's a returning All-American in Nicole Cadell, so that certainly gives you something to build around.
Thank goodness. We don't say that every day in practice because Nicole has a lot of great things about her, but she is not the greatest practice player in the world. But she has shown us enough this fall to tell us that she's ready to play some this year, and we're very fortunate to have her a year back. We thought she was a senior last year. We appealed it. Kathy Anderson took care of that, and we were allowed to have her for one more year. Thank goodness.
Well, you look at your roster, you've got 8 returners, 6 newcomers, so I guess the obvious question, how's everyone gelling together so far in practice?
Well, it's interesting because of those 8 returnees, 4 of those kids are redshirted. 2 of them are medical, and 2 of them were just freshmen that we redshirted. So we, I'm not sure. We've had 1 scrimmage so far. We played William Jewell, and we learned a lot. We started off very, very poorly, but in the end of the first half and the second half, we played some pretty good basketball. The new kids we have are all very talented kids, very quick, very athletic. I think what you're going to see from our team is a team that is just about the opposite of last year's, where we shot the 3 very well but couldn't drive. This year we drive very, very well.
When you look at the makeup of your team, you've always kind of adapted to whatever your team's strengths are and maybe changed your offense or your defensive approach. What is this team like? What do you need to do as a coach to put them in a position to have success?
We're not very big. Nicole at 5'11" is a wide body type of a post player, and I hesitate to use this comparison, but you about have to, and that's the Sanjay Watts from a few years ago for Coach Anderson. Wasn't a very big kid, but he played very, very, very big, and Nicole plays very big, but we are in a league that has some 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" centers, so we're going to have to press some to alleviate that problem, and also do some double teaming in the post. And until Kiana Flax gets eligible at semester, it's going to be Nicole and probably Danny Berry inside doing most of the damage for us.
I've had a chance to watch Kiana practice, and it's a good news, bad news. The good news is she's going to be available for you second semester. The bad news is not right out of the gates, because she looks like a very talented player.
She is. One of the most surprising things is the spark she brings every day in practice. She is a fun kid to watch practice. She's got a lot of energy about her. And every kid's different. You never know when you recruit them if they're going to bring it every day or not. This is a young lady that every day, even though she can't play the first 7 games, she brings it and has really pushed Nicole quite a bit, because we put them against each other a lot, and Nicole had better be on her A game or some bad things are going to happen to her.
Overall, little under a month in, and once the game started in earnest, I know you switched gears a little bit, but are you pleased overall with what you've seen from this group?
Oh, absolutely. And I don't think we're even scratched the surface so far. Because we have so many new kids and so many kids that didn't play last year, we're a little bit behind the 8 ball right here. We do start off with a game or two that you'd like to think you'd be able to win. Although I say that, and Evangel is ahead of Emporia at halftime the other night, and they ended up getting spanked pretty good, but it was 39-38 at halftime. So sometimes when you're scheduling, you're not sure what you're getting, but I'd like to think that we've got Webster first out of St. Louis, and then we've got Evangel and the Division III team coached by former graduate assistant coach Jordan Olafson that was here 4 or 5 years ago, and now he's head coach there.
Well, last week the fans got their first chance to see the Jennies. It was Meet the Jennies at the Multipurpose Building. We'll take a look back at the highlights from that event, and of course that event allows a lot of these newcomers the first chance to run up and down people in the stands, chance to get the kinks out of the new video board, and got all the new LED tables and everything. So really a chance, I think, for the kids to have some fun after a long few weeks of practice.
Well, it is, and of course we practiced before that too, so they weren't the happiest because we had a pretty hard practice before that, then we let them rest for about 15 minutes, and then we brought them back out there. And it's funny because this team is so good at penetrating, and yet we just still haven't figured out how to penetrate for our teammates. And we will do that because these are not selfish kids at all. They just haven't learned to get their head up and make some easy plays.
There's Brielle Watley, one of your returners. I know Brielle, Aaron Redmond, Brianna Lewis. You've got some key players there at the point guard position that need to figure out which one is going to emerge and run the show.
Well, that's the position that's probably concerns us the most right now because nobody's really stepped out. And they all have different strengths, and nobody's really stepped out and said, I'm going to be the one. Somebody will during these next few games, and we'll go from there. There's Katie Kelly, who redshirted last year, and she actually played very, very well on the Meet the Jennies night.
There's Kiana Flax, and the thing that's impressed me, again, she'll be available second semester. She can go inside, and she can step out and knock down the long-range jumper, too.
She's made a lot of threes so far, and she is a kid that will get fouled. Between her and Nicole, we're going to go to the foul line a lot, and teams are going to have to really find ways to stop that. There you saw Quenisha Twine penetrate right there and give the ball to Flax. And Quenisha kind of came here as a three-point shooter, but she has done a great job of driving and passing.
How much will it help Nicole when Flax is eligible too?
Oh, it's unbelievable. They're going to have to, teams are going to really, the first 7 games, they're going to really key on Nicole. But after that, it's, you'd think Flax is going to score 15 a game, so she's going to take a lot of pressure off.
There's Shelby Winkleman, number 23, kicking it out to Aaron Redmond for the jumper. Of course, Aaron and Danielle Bounds missed last year with injury, so I know those two are hungry to get back out there and play.
Well, they can't wait. We're excited to have them because both of them are kids that penetrate very, very well. And Shelby, who you saw earlier, is a young lady that was Miss Basketball 2 years ago, had signed way early to play volleyball in Nebraska, and she is a lot of fun.
Now we're looking at the co-ed three-point shooting contest. This was your idea. I think you stole it from Creighton, where Steve Huber, your former assistant, is now at, and the kids had a lot of fun with it. They had a few rounds of competition, and some of the posts got to shoot threes, the guards got to shoot threes, and as you can see, the kids seemed to really enjoy it.
Well, they did, and hopefully the fans had a good time with it also. We didn't really exactly know what we were doing, but we kind of made it up as we went along, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, lasted a little longer than we wanted to. I think we had to do it again. We'd make sure it only lasted 15, 17 minutes, and it lasted 25 to 30 minutes. But it was a good evening for everybody in the stands.
And a player we haven't mentioned is Kirsten Orton, and we saw her in a lot of the highlights, and we saw her doing the things Kirsten needs to do for your team to be successful, cutting to the ball, making passes, playing defense. She's a veteran of your program.
She is. She started this game off by getting an offensive rebound, missing it, getting her own rebound again, and tipping it in one-handed. You just don't see that very often in our game, and she looked very, very good there. She was a kid that had a lot of injuries last year. She had a mononucleosis. She had a broken bone, so it just seemed like she could never quite get going. She only averaged a couple points a game, and we're looking for a much better production out of her this year.
You mentioned wanting to press with this group. Are you hoping to really get up and down the floor with this team too?
We should be able to. Last year, since I've been here, we had the lowest possessions per game, and the kind of team we had is the way we needed to play. We were down to about 65 possessions a game. I fully expect us to be up in the low to mid 70s now. So I think we're going to be deep. I think we can play 10, 11 players. And if you're going to play 10 or 11 players, you might as well press and make sure the other team gets worn out.
Obviously, an athletic team. It looks like a deep team too. I think maybe the unknown for a lot of fans that will become known is Shelby Winkleman. I mean, if you follow high school basketball in the state of Missouri, I mean, this young lady was the Miss Show Me Basketball. She was the Missouri High School Player of the Year. As you mentioned earlier, went to Nebraska to play volleyball, missed basketball. And, knock on wood, she may end up being a steal because she's a freshman in eligibility, and she has got a chance to be, I know, at least from what I've heard, what I've seen, a special player.
Well, you watch her play every day in practice, and she's very, very coachable. She learns. She learns from herself a lot, and she's a young lady that she scored over 3,000 points in high school. And that is a lot of points. That's add your points and mine together, Jones. You multiply it by 4 in high school, and I think we may have come up with that. I doubt it.
I can give you 50. So
I'm not sure, but I'm not sure how many I had, but it wasn't much more.
That's total.
But she is we like to say about her, she's got a great motor. She never gets tired. Whenever the game gets going up and down, that's only going to benefit her because there's nobody on the court that is in better shape than her, and she just, we call it giving in. She never gives in to fatigue, and that's what makes it fun. And we were scrimmaging William Jewell, and in practice a lot of times we have to stop, do some teaching, and finally in the William Jewell, we finally got the game going up and down, and her face pinked up a little bit, and I think she scored the next 8 points. So we can't wait, and we're very, very excited about her.
Well, it begins in earnest, as I mentioned, for your team because you play on Saturday against Webster at 1:30 at the Multi, and then you play on Monday night against Evangel at 7 o'clock at the Multi, and then you turn around and it really begins because you've got an in-region contest on Thursday, a week from tonight if you're watching this at its original time, against Harding, and then you turn around the next Sunday and play St. Mary's out of Texas. So that's 4 games in 8 days, and 2 of them are Division II contests.
Well, they are, and we need to find a way to get those first two wins in and learn a lot about our team and find out, what the guard situation is going to be. Harding comes in as, of course, we didn't realize this. They were 18-10 last year, but they were picked to win the GAC conference down there. They're picked to beat Arkansas Tech. They've already beat Oral Roberts in an exhibition game, a Division I team. So, that's going to be a tough contest for us because we don't have Flax yet, which we're going to have to find ways to score.
Well, you've been on the Regional Advisory Committee in the past, and it seems like you've always kind of set your schedule up with a couple of these Division II tests early because they do seem to help when it comes to selection time.
It helps if you win. If you lose, they do not help. Last year we went to Midwestern State and really didn't realize they were going to be that good a team. We found a way to beat them in double overtime and just a great game. The next day they beat Washburn, who was in the same tournament with us. And so we had that win all year long, and it kept us in the regional rankings because of that big solid win there. So we realized that the Harding game is very, very important. It's one of those games that's a November game that will stay with you till March.
MIAA play begins early. That's been the case now the last handful of years, and it's December 5th at Fort Hays. One of many teams that ought to be awfully good in this 15-team league this year.
They played K-State to an 11-point game in an exhibition game, so they are very, very good. They've got a 6'5" center, which I'm not real thrilled about playing against with just Nicole. And I'm also not thrilled because we do have to go out there and under the terms of our new league scheduling, we only get to play them once, and it's early. And then you turn around and you play Washburn one time. at Washburn in March of 2013. So it's going to be different for everybody, and I think we all figured that out in football. It's just a different deal.
Yeah,
now.
you don't get that chance to, if you lose a game, say, well, we're going to get them at our place later or whatever. In many cases, against the top teams, you only get them once.
It's true. You only get it once, so you better have your all the gears going and find ways to win it. And then we've also got Emporia. So the first 2 conference games, we do have them at home, but the first 2 conference games are very, very important.
And of course, when you look at the league, you guys obviously last year 20 wins and made the NCAA tournament. Pitt State made the Elite Eight. You've got Washburn and Emporia and Fort Hays, and then Northeastern State's new in this league now. So there's about half this league that you could consider to be consistent teams that compete every year for their league that they've been in or for an NCAA tournament berth.
Well, like you say, we've been 2 out of the last 3 years, been to the NCAA tournament. Northeast Oak, I think, has been there all 3 of those years. So that's quite an addition to our league. And Central Oak is a very, very good team that is coming into our league also. So it's what it was a competitive league is now even going to be crazier because I think that of the 4 teams, those 2 are going to be very, very good.
And you guys have opened up the season the last few years playing in events around Thanksgiving or whatever on the road. So this year, the fans get a chance to come out and see you Saturday, Monday, Thursday, Sunday. So 4 games at home really in about 8 days, as I mentioned earlier. So a chance for the fans to come out and watch you play. We
wanted those video board operators to get a good workout in and to make sure that they understood exactly what they're getting into. And some years scheduling is tough. And so when you can get a home game, you take it kind of when you can get it. And it's not ideal to play 4 games in 8 days because after a couple weeks of this, now we're going to have some time off, which you don't really enjoy. Coaches do because we like to practice, but the kids certainly much rather play a game than practice.
Well, good luck this week. We'll talk to you again soon, Slifer.
Thank you, Jonesy.
In just a moment on the Central Missouri Sports Page, we'll catch up with the 6th-ranked Jennies volleyball team as they get set to close out the regular season this weekend with 2 on the road and begin the postseason next Tuesday with an MIAA tournament match at the Multi. That Jennies volleyball postseason preview is next right here on Sports Page.
This fall on PBS, they had come to the far edge of the Great Plains in search of a new beginning, in the last place in America where a family could claim a homestead and build a future.
We had the best crop that we had had in 1929, and everything was looking up.
A sea of grass, once the domain of Indians and buffalo, disappeared beneath the blade of a plow.
I saw the whole country transformed in the sunset glow. All the brown prairie turned to gold.
But then, it was as if the land rejected them. The rains stopped, and the winds came.
We saw this cloud coming in, black dirt. And I'll never forget my grandmother. She said, "You kids run and get together, the end of the world's coming."
It came like a black wall, a tide of destruction that crashed over the broken plains, choking the life out of everything in its path.
You never really escaped the dust. It always found its way in, and that's, I think, what drove people crazy.
Some would pull up stakes and move on, but most stayed, always looking to the promise that next year would be better.
We were just too selfish and we were trying to make money, and it didn't work out.
Ken Burns tells the story of a generation that was buried and what it took to dig out. The Dust Bowl.
You're watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
far this season has gone really well. We started out with the whole new team pretty much, just a couple returners and a lot of freshmen and transfers that came in, so it took us a while to find a new lineup and get used to the chemistry with each other on the team, but showed potential right from the beginning, and we're starting to fill those shoes, and we've improved every game and every practice. We've gotten better and been able to trust each other more, so now we're to that point where we're just reaching our peak, which is perfect for this season now. So
when you meet as a team in the fall, you have this vision, this projection of where you want the team to be at the end of the season. And for us, that included being competitive for the conference title all the way through to the end of the season. So you were playing a team on Friday night that has one loss. We have one loss, and the match has a tremendous effect on who will win the conference in the regular season. So if you would have asked me in the preseason if I would have taken where we are right now, I'd say you bet, because how the players have handled the season and how we've progressed through the course of the season has put us in a position to do what we wanted to do in the beginning. So yes, I'm very happy with how we've addressed all the things over the course of the season.
Well, this is like the first year that I've ever experienced the MIAA tournament, so it's something new for me, but I mean, I'm pretty excited for it because it's something new, and I mean, we get to play all of the teams in the conference that are top ranked again, and that will be exciting to determine how we fit into regionals.
Many years ago, they used to have a tournament, but the formats were different. This year, we need to have one because the conference is split into two halves, and the teams in your own half you play twice, but the teams in the other half you only play once. So it's kind of an unbalanced schedule. There's 7 teams in one half and 6 in the other half. So teams won't play the same amount of games even. So the postseason tournament becomes a necessity the way the conference is currently constructed. I think 2004, 2005, it's been a while, but we did used to have a conference tournament.
Our conference tournament, I think, will be really tough. We have a couple teams that are still ranked. Washburn and Kearney are ranked above us in the national polls, so we have a tough conference. There's some other teams that we've had close games with, so any given day it depends on the team that you're playing, and so I think it'll be a tough tournament, but we've done well so far by preparing and winning games, no matter how pretty or ugly it looks, but I think it'll be a good turnout.
To prepare for the upcoming games, we won't do anything different in practice, probably just the same thing. Just taking it one team at a time. We play Nebraska Kearney on Friday, so we'll watch film on them and then run our practice around how they run their offense and have our second team running plays that they would run, and just doing the same thing we do every week. As our team goals is always to win the MIAA tournament, or the MIAA conference championship, and then this year, since we have the tournament, it just adds another goal for us. But in the end, everyone wants to go to nationals, and that's my goal, is for national championship. We've made it there the last couple of years, so now just finishing and getting to the championship round and proving that we can hold that spot.
The postseason tournament, to me, it allows teams that aren't in those top 5 who would have trouble qualifying for the national tournament, it's kind of like a second chance. For the teams that are in the top 4, we're pretty sure we're going to make it into the tournament. So for us, it's almost like double jeopardy. We're going to play teams a second or third time that we've already played. So it will be very hard. But I do understand the value of the tournament for the teams like 5, 6, 7, and 8. If they get on fire, if they play well, if they earn some wins, they could earn their way into the postseason tournament. So I really do see the value of that. And I also understand the value of the postseason tournament given the structure of our conference right now with 2 sides and unbalanced sides and uneven competition. So I really understand the value of it. It's going to be very difficult for us to play teams a second or third time. That's okay.
The 6th-ranked Jennies have a half-game lead in the MIAA standings as they head to 4th-ranked Nebraska Kearney and Fort Hays State to close out the regular season this Friday and Saturday. The Gens are ranked 2nd this week in the NCAA Central Regional Poll, and they've already clinched a home match in the MIAA tournament next Tuesday night at 7 at the Multi. In just a moment, we'll tell you where all the Mules and Jennies are competing this weekend as Sports Page rolls on after this timeout.
I choose to accomplish my goals.
I choose to follow through, to finish my degree.
I choose a university that's convenient and close to home.
I choose Red to transfer my credit hours without any hassles.
I choose Red to graduate on time.
The University of Central Missouri Summit Center in Lee Summit has academic programs designed to help you finish your degree and discover your potential. Learn more at choosered.ucmo.edu.
Award-winning vocal quartet Tonic Sofa continues to take a cappella to new heights. For 12 years, the group has captivated critics and fans alike with their soaring vocals, smooth harmonies, heartfelt lyrics, upbeat arrangements, and engaging stage presence. On Thursday, November 29th, Tonic Sofa is coming to the University of Central Missouri's Performing Arts Series in Warrensburg. With your $60 donation of support, you'll receive 2 gold-level tickets to the special holiday show. Call 1-800-753-3436 to reserve your seats and support your local PBS station, KMOS-TV. Thank you. Thank you for watching KMOS Channel 6.1, Sedalia, Warrensburg.
For one final time this week, welcome back to Sports Page. Before we put the finishing touches on this week's show, let's run down our upcoming schedule of events so you know where to follow the Mules and Jennies. And it's a busy time for UCM sports, so let's get right to it. The 6th-ranked Jennies volleyball team travels to Kearney, Nebraska on Friday for a huge MIAA match with the 4th-ranked Nebraska Kearney Lopers. Then on Saturday, the Jennies close out the regular season with a morning match at Fort Hays State. Now, the Gens have a half-game lead in the conference standings heading into the final weekend of the regular season. Next Tuesday, we know the Gens will host an MIAA tournament match at the Multi. That will begin at 7 o'clock. The Jennies are ranked 6th in the nation and number 2 in the all-important Central Region rankings this week. The MIAA champion and 12th-ranked Jennies soccer team is hosting one half of the NCAA Central Regional this weekend at the South Recreation Complex. Sunday at 1 o'clock, the Jennies will take on the winner of Friday's match between Minot State and Southwestern Oklahoma in the regional semifinal. Again, UCM students admitted free, as UCM President Dr. Chuck Ambrose purchasing those tickets for UCM students. Just show your ID. We hope to see you out at South Rec to cheer on the Jennies Sunday at 1. The 6th-ranked Jennies bowling team will take part in the Valparaiso Invitational Friday through Sunday in Valparaiso, Indiana. The Mules wrestling squad will welcome approximately 350 grapplers from around the nation, all levels, Division I, II, and III, and NAIA. They'll come to the multi-purpose building on Sunday for the UCM Open. Action begins on Sunday at 10 a.m. and will run throughout the day at the Multi. The Mules basketball team will tip off their season Saturday at 3:30 at the Multi, hosting Webster University. Of course, we'll have the broadcast for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, OrangeburgRadio.com, and at tip-off on 90.9 The Bridge. And it'll be a busy week for Jennies basketball at home. They'll open their season Saturday, hosting Webster at the Multi at 1:30. Then on Monday, the Jennies will host Evangel at 7. Next Thursday, the Jennies will host Harding in a Division II in-region contest at the multi-purpose building. We'll have all those broadcasts for you on 1450 Cocoa, 98.5 The Bar, and WarrensburgRadio.com. And with that, we conclude this edition of the Central Missouri Sports Page. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we invite you to tune in again next week to learn more on the UCM Mules and Jennies. In the meantime, visit our website, ucmathletics.com, for the latest on UCM sports. Until next week, which will be our final show of the fall semester, for our entire crew, this is Shawn Jones saying thanks for watching the Central Missouri Sports Page right here on KMOS-TV, Missouri PBS. Support for Sports Page is provided by Parker's Supermarket and Pharmacy in Warrensburg. Parker's works hard to supply grocery staples and spices to cook Italian, Mexican, Chinese, Indian, and Thai cuisine. The mission at Parker's is to make grocery shopping a welcoming experience for everyone. By First Central Bank, full-service banking from 6 locations in Warrensburg, Holden, Higginsville, and Odessa. More information is available on their Facebook page or at the website firstcentral.net. Member FDIC. And by Union Station, Crossroads to Technology, a one-stop shopping source for technology needs. Campus-compatible computers, software for Mac and PCs, and much more. Located on campus on the lower floor of the Elliott Union in Warrensburg. Union Station, Crossroads to Technology. And promotional support for Sports Page is provided by 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar. 1450 Cocoa and 98.5 The Bar, the radio home of University of Central Missouri Athletics.